So what makes my story so extraordinary is the fact that it is so just very extraordinary. I don't have any great accomplishments, Nobel Peace Prizes, or really cool studies to boast about. But I have survived active addiction, and I have seen and been through more than most people could ever even imagine. And I stand here today on stage in front of you to represent a light that is born in the defeat of this darkness. About 4 out of 5 people who succumb to substance use disorder start with prescription pain medication. I'd like to quickly state that that's the only number or statistic I'm going to give you today, simply because these are people we're talking about, not numbers. They are our brothers, our sisters, our children, our parents, our neighbors, our coworkers, or like in my case, sometimes they're us. Like I said, I had a pretty ordinary life. I grew up in a small town in South Jersey. I had a really big, close-knit family. I went to a private high school. I played sports growing up. I was a cheerleader. I went to college. I was in a sorority. I came home after college and was given a prescription for opioid painkillers for an injury that I had sustained. Very quickly, I had become one of those 4 out of 5 people who succumbed to substance use disorder. I was taking prescription painkillers, and it very quickly spiraled into a full-blown heroin addiction. Very quickly spiraled into a full-blown heroin addiction. I had given up everything for heroin. My family, my life, my friends, my job, it had completely taken over. I'm sure by now, most of you know someone who is in active addiction, so I'm not gonna give you all the gory details about it. But I need you to know that I did reach a point in my life where I thought that I had done so many things wrong, I didn't even know if I could do right anymore. I had completely given up on myself. I thought that my life was over. There was no redemption for me, no hope. So much so that I used to have to tell my family to accept me the way that I was. A heroin addict. I was going to die, not because I was a heroin addict, but I was going to die from being a heroin addict. I was going to overdose and die, and I had accepted that fact. I had looked my mom in the eye and told her this was going to kill me, and I continued to use. If that's not a testament to how strong this disease is, I don't know what is. Seems like a lifetime ago, but I'm not here to talk about the gory details. I'm here to talk about and spread hope. Eventually, all the consequences to my addiction had caught up to me, and I ended up in jail. I was lucky enough to become a drug court client and go to long-term rehab. After rehab, I had continued my treatment, and I went to an outpatient program as well. And like I said, today I'm here to share some hope. Isolating myself from my friends and my family to showing up every single time they need me, that's hope. From being homeless to having my own apartment, that's hope. From not having a job, from being unemployed, to getting a job, receiving several promotions, and eventually getting the job of my dreams, that's hope. From not even wanting to live anymore to sharing my story at the White House, that's hope. From spending holidays in hotel rooms alone to waking up on Christmas with my family and watching my niece and nephew open presents, that's hope. From crying of sadness alone in my jail cell to crying tears of happiness at my own drug court graduation, surrounded by people I love, that's hope. All this hope didn't happen overnight. I had to work really, really hard at it. I had to accept that the things that I had done, I couldn't take back. The past isn't something that I can change. And although it was tough, when I accepted that, I was able to forgive myself and consciously ask others for forgiveness as well. I had to treat my entire self, my mind, my body, and my soul. I also had to treat the spiritual aspect of myself, which for me was paramount. I had to keep a positive attitude about everything, which I'm sure we all know isn't easy. It took some time, but eventually I started to do the right thing, and I kept doing the right next thing. I used to think that being an addict was my downfall. I used to think that it defined me, but now I know it's just a part of me. It's a part that makes me more understanding, more compassionate, more grateful. And I used to think that it was my downfall, but I've learned that it's actually one of my strongest attributes. And working at Victory Bay Recovery Center, I get to use this really cool part of me and try to help other people as well. The hardest question I get in my line of work is, how did you get better? Why can't my son or daughter get better? That's difficult. To have someone look at you and ask why their loved one stays sick, why you got better. And all I know is that I don't have all the answers for that. But I do know, and I do think that there are 3 very important components to that. I think a strong clinical program, assisted with a 12-step program, and sober structured living is the way to long-term sobriety. I also know that reducing the stigma is very important as well. There's a thing called NIMBY. I don't know if you guys have heard of it, but it's not in my backyard. So people want people to get better, but they don't want recovery houses or sober living homes in their neighborhoods. Would you tell a cancer patient that they couldn't move in next to you to recover? Would you tell someone who's dying of a heart disease that they couldn't live in your neighborhood? I just don't understand how we can tell somebody who could potentially be our family member next month that we're not willing to help when they're trying to help themselves. The days of this not happening to me or my loved ones are over. This is a national crisis. People are dying in unfathomable numbers, and we need to do something about it. I refuse to stand by idly and allow this to happen anymore. I need your help. I can't do this alone. I am begging you that you learn from my mistakes. And I've learned through this to never give up on my ambitions of a happy and healthy life. I've learned to successfully transition from a victim to a survivor. I will continue to pursue and conquer life's greatest obstacles. And I will remain unstoppable in my motive to help and love and appreciate all things, good and bad. My journey through recovery has been fueled by love and hope from my family and friends, and I know it's my mission in life to spread that love and hope to anybody who will take it. It is my duty to never forget the people who feel forgotten. The quote I now choose to live by is, "The world is changed by my example, not by my opinion." And I choose to embrace that the change starts with me. I choose to judge less. I choose to love more. And I choose to spread hope. What do you choose? At the end of the day, I'm just a recovering addict trying to help the next recovering addict. And to me, that's hope. Thank you.